In this video, we're going to talk about all the things we discovered here on demo day. We observed a header that was not necessary and required removal, electrical, and a sub panel that had to be rerouted and deleted, several different plumbing lines and fixtures that had to be removed, as well as a surprise that we weren't expecting, mold on the underside of the roof. It's not unusual that a roof is ignored because no one inspects the attic, but on the underside of this roof, mold had been growing for quite some time. This week, we're back working on framing. As you can see here, we have the floor all laid out for the addition of a floor system here. We're in the existing garage and in the existing laundry room, where we will be expanding the laundry room into the garage to create a mudroom and formal access point to the home. So here we have completed our demolition, and we're making room for cabinetry, a raised entry door that will be framed next. Once we fill in this floor system, then the entire floor will be all just one height. Here you can see we've removed and made safe of all the electrical. There was a sub panel here before, and you can see where we've made room for our wall to be built in. We're adding a pocket door coming from the existing garage so you can get in and out. Since we've completed the demo, now is time for the first essential step in construction, which is framing. So we create the shape of the future space with new framing materials. We build walls that are temporary to support loads, and then we build structurally intact walls to support load above and create our new entry points. How homeowners can tell if your carpenter and crew is doing the framing correctly. When you're working with a contractor, framing changes are essential. In this case, we've moved walls, we've added flooring, we've changed doors into windows, and all of these elements are essential to the successful outcome of this project. Most contractors don't offer framing carpentry work like this, and so it's a challenge for most contractors to deliver this major renovation. What makes a renovation a success is taking into consideration all the things that can be improved along the way. In this particular project, we've done several major structural carpentry alterations. We've taken out this entire wall, which creates an expanded space for this room. What is a very small space to be working in doing your laundry will become a massive, spacious area for our clients to walk through. Preventing the congestion here is going to give this family the ability to sit down when they enter, take their shoes and coat off, and make it inside. You can see we completely gutted the space. You can see how small and congested the original laundry room was here when this wall was in place. There was a door here, and this is extremely congested. There's no space. There's nowhere to take off your coat when you walk in. And so the concept of expanding the space will give them so much more area to work. Walls are built with wood, and some walls are load bearing and structural, and others are just partitions and are not bearing any weight. And so homeowners would never know which walls are load bearing. That's why we're here. Because we're educated in structural carpentry and building, we're able to determine where the point or the load points are distributed around this home. So this wall that we removed, for example, a lot of people would have thought that that required a header, but in fact, it's not load bearing, so there's no structure needed whatsoever. Putting in temporary walls allows us to prevent damage, settling, shifting, etc., while we're doing these major carpentry alterations, like cutting a big hole for a large 4-panel window. If you don't put temporary walls in, you are asking for trouble. The reason why we build these temporary walls and have them in place is to support the load above while we're doing major structural carpentry work. Homeowners may not realize that the exterior walls of the home do bear weight and load from above. Depending on how your roof was built and where your headers were placed, there's a number of different ways that people build homes like this, and an expert's required to determine which walls are load bearing, where temporary walls are needed, so that we ensure that there's no damage along the way. This was altered previously, and a contractor who did this remodel thought a header was needed. And because these are trusses, they span from end to end, right? Our cabinets would not be able to go in with this header in place. So it was a surprise that was not expected. The contractor who worked here before us was trying to be safe. So he put this header in where one was not necessary because he was uninformed and uneducated in how to determine whether this header is in fact needed or not. Here is where the header was removed that was not necessary. Guys, a lot can happen when you demolish a space. There's so much concealed behind the walls. Here, there was a 10-foot header installed during a previous renovation that was completely unexpected and unnecessary. This home was built with trusses, and this truss was designed to span weight from end to end. So this middle wall here, this is not load bearing. This is going to be a 4-light picture window, and it's going to let so much light into this new kitchen. Here you can see the new header supporting this load-bearing wall that we rebuilt. So a new wood is light in color and bright in contrast to the dark colored wood that's existing. Because this home is built the way that it is, the exterior walls are load-bearing here. And so this wall had to be properly supported with a temporary wall. We put that wall in place to carry the weight of the load while we rebuilt this exterior wall. And it has 3 jack studs and 1 king stud, and this is an LVL spanning this 10-foot opening. The focal point of this kitchen is going to be this big 4-panel, beautiful picture window. All 4 sashes will crank open so that you'll get tons of airflow and ventilation through here. As part of our new kitchen, we've designed it to improve the space significantly from the old kitchen. There was 1 small window in front of the sink. Now there'll be a large 4-panel window there. So while you're cooking and preparing food, you're seeing your beautiful backyard. Most companies don't have the skill and experience to do structural carpentry work like this. Almost everyone who gets their kitchen remodeled wants a big, beautiful picture window with work sashes, but it takes a lot of work because all the utilities that ran through here all had to be rerouted. Here we have several electrical wires that were brought back, and up above we have a copper pipe that had to be eliminated. There are so many pipes and wires that ran through this wall. It was a lot of work to allow for this big opening to exist. This header we found in the wall that didn't belong there. We discovered several wires as well as pipes and conduit all having to be resolved, rerouted, and redone. Most kitchen and bathroom designers just replace kitchens and bathrooms, and that's where they draw the line. But MI Remodelers, we offer so much more. When we remodel a space, we can change the placement of things like your sink, plumbing, ventilation, windows and doors. We can create a more spacious kitchen. In this case, one of the challenges we had was we needed more space in the kitchen and more countertop area, more cabinet storage. We were able to add a couple 100 square feet to this kitchen without extending outside of the kitchen. Framing is so essential, even though homeowners don't get to see the framing for long, because it's the skeletal system for the home and it's the structure that we build everything around. The walls support the roof, and we want to make sure that everything that we do is structurally intact. So we diagnose, troubleshoot, investigate, and correct any and all structural flaws that we discover. It's our responsibility to make sure that this home is stable and secure and that it's going to last several decades. My advice to homeowners is to work with a company who offers design services. Our particular project here required exploratory demo. We did something most companies don't do. We started prematurely with a small demo scope, so we were able to reveal some of the challenges that we discovered, so we were able to work through them successfully and quickly. Homeowners think that demolition is easy and that it won't be messy and that there won't be a ton of debris. But most of the time, they are wrong. This particular project, we have created over 40 yards of debris through the removal of wood, plaster, drywall, electrical, flooring, tile, cement, and more. We've showed up and left with dump trailers full of debris, filled a whole 40-yard container here, only bringing another one still for the remaining debris. By the time we finish this project, we will have disposed of over 8 yards of construction debris at this project. When we removed the concrete outside, we realized that the patio had been poured with 9 inches of concrete. 9 inches of concrete is extremely thick and very difficult to break out. Once we removed that, we were down to good earth and we were able to dig our excavation for the foundation. Beautiful porch is coming here soon. When we discover something unexpected at MI Remodelers, it's very important that we make a plan and we notify the homeowner immediately. When we discovered the pipe had a fastener through it, it was essential that we dried up the water, remove the wet ceiling tiles, notify the homeowner, and clean up the mess. We were able to do all those things in tandem, and when our homeowner arrived home, everything had been resolved, and they were happy about that. When we're doing a major renovation, we know that things are going to happen. And when you hire MI Remodelers, the integrity guys are here to make sure everything goes smooth and that there are no hiccups or hurdles along the way. So our team is here on site during the demo with all the tools needed to address a surprise leak from a pipe or to make electrical safe so that we can continue working on the demolition and the safe removal of the existing kitchen. The thing I see most in construction is feeble attempts at performing parts of a remodel that are important. We see contractors all the time remodel spaces like this without upgrading the electrical or without upgrading the plumbing, without changing the window size, without extending the floor. These essential parts of the project make the entire project a success.